Did you 7:30?
Sheriff?
Yeah. Get enough.
Miss Ellis been sitting there. You weren't here.
You gonna sit down?
What do we do about that Monday? How'd that work out?
Texas next week for you?
Yes, ma'am.
Happy birthday almost.
Trying to get out of here.
Brett Longcap, how'd we do on that?
Go give me a long star and some bite.
Oh, it's in here?
Smatter with a couple of rattlesnakes and all.
This regular meeting of the Board of Mayor and Aldermen for June 17th, 2014 will come to order. I'll ask everyone to stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please be seated. The next item on our agenda is the presentation of the Springfield Gas Department Scholarship winners. Greg, are you making that, or is Mr. Andavazio?
That's deferred over to Mr. Slam Andavazio.
All right, you are deferring to him. All right. Didn't want to steal your thunder if you wanted to do that. Sam, if you will bring our recipients forward and introduce them, please.
Okay. I appreciate the honor to do this. Before I do this, I want to make sure that I'd like to recognize the school for being so diligent in helping us out with this, especially to recognize the counselors, Miss Carolyn Perry with Joe Burns High School, Mrs. DuPay with Greenbrier, Miss Ada Brown with East Robertson High School, Dr. James Snyder with Springfield, and Dr. Blazer with South Haven Christian School. They work really hard to get us the kids that to bring their applications, and they really work hard to get the kids. They have a lot of passion for it. The first one I'd like to recognize tonight from Joe Burns High School is Nikki Reed. Stand right there if you don't mind. Nikki is going to Volunteer Community College, and she's majoring in dental hygiene. From Greenbrier High School, Sierra Hinkle. Sierra is going to Highland Crest Community for us this year, and she's a major in special needs teacher in healthcare. Springfield High School, Asia Snorton. She is going to Middle Tennessee State University, and her major is in pre-medicine. And John Dutton with South Haven Christian School. John is going to the University of Kentucky. He's majoring and had a Bachelor in Science in biology. So, and one that is not here, wasn't able to make it. She was out of town tonight. She's from East Robertson High School. Her name is Jordan Hudgens. She's going to the University of Tennessee, and her major is in speech pathology. Seniors, on behalf of Springfield Gas, we wish you all the best, and congratulations.
Yes. Yes. Just wait till we get the picture.
As one of the committee persons, I would love to really commend these young people. Those resumes were fantastic, okay? So keep on doing a good job.
Thank you, and it's indeed a pleasure to see these very successful high school seniors moving on to college, and we're glad that the Gas Department scholarships were able to help further that process, so congratulations. Now we have a series of public hearings You know, it's kind of interesting tonight. We even have the front rows filled tonight. So obviously somebody's here with a good interest in government. And we appreciate that. And it's okay to slip out if you don't want to have something to say. The first public hearing is in regard to ordinance 14-07. This ordinance would adopt the annual budget and tax rate for the fiscal year beginning July 1st and lasting, of course, till June 30th of 2015. Now, if you have a comment you'd like to make about that on this subject, it's not a debatable or asking questions. It's just what your comment would be. You may have 2 or 3 minutes to come forward after you've raised your hand and been recognized. Please come to the podium that's to my left. Give your name and state your position on this, and then we'll move on to the next person. So the first person that's been to see me, I'm going to go on with Rusty Fox. He spoke to me first, and Neil, I get to you next. Rusty.
I'm Rusty Fox, and I'm going to probably be on the opposite side of what y'all expect from me to be tonight.
I'm sitting down, it's okay.
I think you need to go back to the 22 cents myself.
Well, I'm glad to hear you say that.
And the reason I say that,
it happens tonight, but
the reason I say that is, for one thing, I know you're going to address the water and sewer issues, and the only way you're going to get them cheaper is to have more people live here. And right now, I've been involved with a group of citizens, and we've been doing some research on things. And one of the shocking things we've come up with is I went on the internet tonight and pulled up just every one that I pull up about how bad the crime is in Springfield, Tennessee. And I feel like, I know y'all are offering the chief here a new police officer, but I think we need some more programs, and he needs more money and more help for his department. And
Amen.
Like Springfield's crime index is 32% higher than the state average. Springfield's violent crime is 50% higher than the state average. Property crime, 29% higher than the state average. It says your chance of being a victim of a crime is 1 out of 19 in Springfield. Chance of a victim of being a property crime is 1 out of 23. And my feelings are, and I know a lot of the citizens are here, that if you're going to raise our taxes, let's do it. Let's use it for something good. And I mean, I wish that, if y'all would pull up this stuff, you may know all this stuff already. I just wanted to point it out, but
we are aware and very pained by those statistics.
But
we've had a lot of discussion about it lately, and Chief Thompson and I were just talking about it before the meeting started.
So I appreciate y'all considering that. I know that there's a lot of folks probably against things, and I was that way. And by all this stuff, this is hurting us worse than the other. And we're going to have to go through some growing pains and some money. We didn't get there overnight, and we're not going to get there the other way, but we're going to have to do it together. Citizens exactly right. And y'all. And I appreciate your time.
Well, thank you, Mr. Fox.
Thank
you. Appreciate that.
Neil Peterson.
Appreciate that.
Mr. Mayor, Aldermen, staff, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Neil Peterson. I live in Springfield. Springfield can be a low-tax town. It can be a high-crime town. Thank you for that introduction. We know both of those things are true. We are a high-crime town. Springfield can be a low-tax town and a low-maintenance town. Drive through a neighborhood that's not your own and take a look at the condition or even existence of sidewalks, curbs, and gutters. Springfield can be a low-tax town and can be a not-so-attractive town. If you get out of your own leafy neighborhoods and look around, there is lots to be done to make Springfield an attractive town. The new trees along Memorial Boulevard help, but a lot more needs to be done. Springfield can be a low-tax town and can be a town where the sewers back up and cross-connect to the stormwater runoff and are left unattended for years on end, can wind up costing extra millions of dollars to repair, with the possibility of the federal gun to our head and developers screaming about moratoriums. Local developers may wait it out and adjust, but out-of-town developers are going to take their capital elsewhere to invest, and you're never going to know. Holding your own by keeping the grass cut in the 3 parks or putting new air conditioning at the center is not really making progress. Why don't we have a pocket park within walking distance of every mom with small kids with swing slides and benches? I'll tell you why, because there's an attitude prevalent that parks will just get torn up. That's not an excuse, but it seems to suffice in Springfield. Springfield can be a low tax town where people are advised not to drive down Central Avenue at night, as I have been. Hiring a great police chief and not giving him the tools to do the job is like giving him a gun without bullets. Our tax base will grow when people have the confidence to build homes and businesses in Springfield. It's your job to make Springfield the kind of town that attracts investment. Those of you who have lived here many years point to things like the Y, the Legacy, and Northcrest as examples of great improvements. Folks, those are one-off projects that come way too few and far between. Those examples do not show a pattern of growth or good stewardship. Getting a new Dollar General is pretty much the lowest common denominator of development. We can do much better, and it's time to start. With a penny-wise and pound-foolish approach to fixing the problems in Springfield, the problems will continue to exist, and people with money to invest will go elsewhere. Please give Mr. Nutting what he needs. Thank you.
Thank you, Neil. Is there someone else who wishes to make a comment? Margot?
Margot Fosness, President and Chief Economic Development Officer for the Robertson County Chamber. I'm also here speaking tonight on behalf of the investor group of Realizing Robertson's Future. I'd like to reiterate what's been mentioned about the crime statistics. This is a serious problem in Springfield. It is a serious drawback for our efforts to bring economic development to our community. I would like to see some serious attention put to that. I'd like to hear what Chief Thompson has in mind to battle these crime statistics in our area. I know he gave a report, but to date I haven't heard him give a report to you as to what he believes should be done. I'd also like to just once again reiterate what I believe is the service that the Chamber of Commerce does to the city of Springfield in return for the small investment that the city makes. This weekend we probably had 10,000 people on the square in Springfield. We had local businesses along Main Street in the square who told us they had the best Saturday that they've ever had. That is just one small example of the things that the Chamber does to bring people and investment and development to the city of Springfield. Thank you.
Is there someone else? Hearing none, we'll declare that public hearing concluded. Second is ordinance 14-08. This would set a new schedule of rates and charges for the Springfield water system. Is there anyone in the audience who wishes to make a statement in that regard? Hearing none, we conclude that portion of the public hearing and move to ordinance 14-09, which would set a new schedule of rates and charges for the Springfield sewer system. Is there anyone who wishes to comment on that matter? Come forward.
Yes, Mr. Mayor. Mr. Heber, I'm a resident of Springfield.
Speak up just a little louder.
My question, I guess, is to you and the aldermen. If you adopt this ordinance, what about those people that don't hook up to the sewer system?
Mr. Betty?
Well, if they have a functioning septic system, they're good until that septic system starts to fail. If they're within a reasonable distance of a sewer right now and they're on a septic system, they need to be charged or asked to connect.
Okay, so if I take it if they refuse to connect, they will still pay the charge. Is that correct?
Well, if they're close enough and they've got it's my understanding they do have to connect within so many feet of the sewer at the present time.
Okay, thank you. That was my question.
Yes, sir. Other comments with regard to the sewer rates? Hearing none, we will move now to ordinance 1410. which is a change in sanitation rates. Is there anyone who wishes to comment on that? All right. It looks like we're through with the public hearings for tonight. 1.4, the approval of the minutes from the special meeting of the Board of Mayor and Aldermen, which was held June 10th. Is there a motion this be approved?
So moved.
Second.
Okay. Any discussion? Hearing none, if you favor the approval of the minutes, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. So ordered. And now we move to ordinance 1405, third reading. This is the ordinance which would establish, let me read all of this. In water and wastewater, we're amending Chapter 3 and amending Section 18-303, etc., involving plumbing permits that are required. This has been thoroughly discussed 2 different nights. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Please call the roll, Connie.
Snyder.
Aye.
Carneal.
Aye.
Hubbard.
Aye.
Sneed.
No.
Head.
Yes.
Ellis. Mason.
Aye.
That's 6 to 1.
Similarly, and the next item, 2.2, is discussion and possible action on 1406, which is also a third and final reading, and this has to do with plumbing permits and inspections. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? Please call the roll.
Head.
Yes.
Carneal.
Aye.
Snyder.
Aye.
Mason.
Aye.
Hubbard.
Aye.
Ellis.
Aye.
Sneed.
No.
That's 6 to 1.
Okay. We're on 2.3.
Yes, sir.
2.3 now. Ordinance 1407, third and final reading. This is the budget and tax rate ordinance for the fiscal year. Is there a motion this be taken under consideration?
So moved.
And a second. Now the floor is open for discussion.
Yes, Mr. Mayor.
Mr. Sneed.
I'd like to amend the budget on the section that has to deal with the water and sewer department. I'd like to make the amendment to, let's see how to word it. I want to make the amendment to not add 4 new hires at the department. One, the coordinator for the stormwater utility, and the 3 maintenance crews for the new vacuum truck.
Is there a second? Is there a second?
Second. Can we separate those? There was 2 of those, 3 of those are in water, and the others in storm water. Am I correct?
Yes. I don't want to separate them. I think we got enough people for water utility man, and I think they need to use existing people on that new truck.
They're not in the same department.
The water utility, the storm water utility, that's,
Storm water would be something different
okay,
than
well, I mean,
wastewater.
they're right here in that
Yeah,
same
yeah.
stance, those 4 individuals.
Mr. Ellis, he has a second to this, so I'm going to take it like that and make it vote preference. Any discussion on Mr. Sneed's amendment?
Yes, sir.
Go ahead, Mr. Hubbard.
Mr. Sneed, may I remind you of the state mandated, federal mandated decree that we got with the storm water. We have to go with that. It has to be separate from our regular water systems. So you have to understand that. We have to keep it like it is. We have to start a whole new entity. So leave it as it was constructed. Mr. Nutty?
Yes, it's my understanding there are 2 actual EPA programs here. One is stormwater, which is a federal mandate,
Exactly.
and our administrative order on consent, which is a federal mandate. We have promised the EPA in our plans that we will have a crew fully dedicated to keeping our sewer system open and clean. It would be nice if we could combine this, but we can't. We need a crew fully dedicated for this. And I believe that's in our agreement with the federal government. Also, under the coordination, we are collecting storm management fees. There are things we are supposed to be doing. We've done a lot of mapping, but there are still things that have to be done as far as public information, and that's what that coordinator position is for. One person dedicated to be the administrator and enforcement officer for that program.
All right, Ms. Snyder. Just a moment, Ms. Snyder.
I believe this is very important that we go ahead and do this according to state and federal laws so we'll be able to build. I'm afraid we have to comply. Do we like spending the money? No. But we have to, so we can start building.
Mr. Steve.
There seems to be some confusion about whether to do these jobs. I didn't say not do the job, do the work. I don't want to hire new people. I think we have enough people sitting around, killing time, sitting in the back, in the shops. Take some of the least productive crews that we have. We gave water department, sewer department a new crew and truck just 3 or 4 years ago. I think, can't remember, just a few years ago at least. We got enough people, reassign them. I didn't say not do the work. I didn't say not do what was promised. I'm just saying do it with people that we have through reassignment, not hire more people.
I think you're clear. Mr. Ellis.
That was clear, but we need to separate these. They're totally two different things.
And if you want to do that, we need to vote.
One is stormwater, and one is wastewater. And stormwater is mandated by the federal government, but they're not together.
I understand that, but the way that motion is stated, and it's
You put
properly
them together.
stated, we're going to have to vote on it as is, and then we can come back and you can propose something that can correct that. Okay? You're going to think through that? Well, I think you know the obvious answer on it. Anything further on this amendment? All right, let's call the roll on the amendment.
Carneal,
No.
Head,
Yes.
Sneed,
Yes?
Mason.
No.
Snyder,
No.
Ellis,
Yes.
Hubbard,
No.
failed 3-4.
Okay. Now we're back on the main motion.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes, sir.
I can make amendment to the budget.
Okay.
Would like to eliminate the 3-man maintenance crew to the water wastewater department and have that department utilize, man the new truck that we've budgeted and paid for or budgeted for and ordered with existing personnel.
Is there a second?
Second.
All right. Any discussion now on Mr. Sneed's new motion?
That did pull out the stormwater.
Pulled out the stormwater and dealt only with the wastewater.
Question for Paul.
Mr.
What impact do you see that once the sewer project is complete, I know we need a crew that will maintain this truck. Do you see less problems, less maintenance issues in the future system-wide?
Well, I think we're establishing a base right now. The sewer system continues to deteriorate every year. I mean, it's not like everything's just collapsing and falling apart, but there are things that have to be identified, not only of just keeping the lines clean, but making sure that once we establish the base with our depreciation, I mean, we're going to have to start every year, start anticipating we're going to have to make some repairs, whether it's lining pipe or upgrading some pipe or whatever. We're going to have to spend $250,000 or more every year, probably a lot more than that, to just keep the system in good shape. And these people will have a camera truck and a flusher truck, all the things they need, not only wet weather flows to try to correct those, but the dry weather flows, people that put things down sanitary sewer all the time that shouldn't be in sanitary sewer and really create the problems, grease and other things.
Okay, and that's the job of the new crew, is that?
Yes.
Is that right? The current crews that are maintaining the system, and combating these problems, what will they be doing?
Well, we really, to be honest with you, I don't think we've got enough people to cover 150 square miles. Forget the water system is 150 square miles in the middle portion of the county. We spent a lot of time going back and forth. People say, well, I see these trucks going out of the city all the time. Well, of course, most of the system, or a good half of the system, is outside the city. And of course, you have the sewer on top of that. So there's plenty of work that has to be done. We still have the camera truck. We're just going to have to figure out how to best shift that manpower, but we can use it all.
All right. Mr. Hubbard?
I don't think we are hearing, even in the public, in our public discourse about the necessity to grow. You don't want to impede having a ready workforce on our service entities. I mean, why are you going to put yourself in a strain when you know that we may need more 3 or 4 years from now? See, that's my comment about living on the edge. We can't run this city government living on the edge, and I would not support that, because I want us to explode. And I want those new companies that she's talking about, those new people coming here. And I want us to have it. We need to build it, have it ready, have it in place, and when they come, work with it. So we have to really get and start thinking. We have to start thinking out of the box and not look so much about squeezing that penny and shooting herself in the foot.
All right, sir. Other comments?
I will just,
Mr. Ellis?
I've got a copy of the agreement. Tried to read it, but it's went off.
Is that with your glasses?
Had an assistant. I've tried to, it probably, in what I've read, doesn't say 3 new people. It says 3 designated crew. So that can come from 3 new people, or could come from 3 people that are already there that you designated to go to this truck instead of going to what they're doing today. Does that make sense?
Well, we wouldn't have asked for it if we didn't think we needed it. And, there are a lot of things we've had to answer to the EPA. There are a lot of reports and commitments that we made. As it stipulates, every quarter we have to make reports. We have to have plans on a lot of different things that we've never had before. And let me tell you, you start missing those, you don't know what trouble is until you don't correct this thing the way you promise you're going to correct it.
Is it okay, Mr. Nutt and Mr. Beers, to give a quick reflection? I'm sitting in for Roger.
Not near as long as him.
Get in this argument, okay?
Yes. What do you need me to add on?
To clarify the request.
One thing, Clay, you were asking about, you were talking about, do we need these people? I'm not over there, so I can't tell you what these people do. Now, I know under the agreed order what we have and different submittals we have to make. Here's the things that we're going to have to adhere to. Every year, we're going to have to flush so many miles of pipe, so many linear feet of pipe. We're going to have to camera so many linear feet of pipe. We're going to have to inspect. It breaks down to about every 10 years, you're going to renew your system. You're going to have to inspect approximately 10% of your manholes. You're going to have to go back and do smoke testing, 10% of your system. This is every year. I think that's where they're getting into, that they need the additional personnel just dedicated for that, not to do any other entities. They're going to flush, they're going to fix any repairs. That's solely their dedication. Now, how the people are needed, I'm not over there in that department, but I know that's what the agreed order, that's where that comes in.
So what you're saying is a much higher level of maintenance on a regular basis?
Yes, sir. I mean, that's agreed to. That we've been forced to that.
That's what I understand.
And what it gets to, they're not going to let you get into the same situation that you got into before.
Exactly.
They want you every year, okay, we're going to fix this, we're going to fix this, and in 10 years, it's just like you're renewing your system to keep from getting back into the situation where you ignored it for year after year after year. So that's what the personnel are for.
Are there any other questions, Mr. Beers, while these before us?
Yes, Mr. Mayor. Mr. Beers, do you think your department is any different from any other private sector, industry, or any other business that you're running at 100% total efficiency where there's no room to add any type of new work like this new vacuum truck to the existing personnel? You have to have new people. There's no room.
I don't know.
for any
I can't tell you
any-
that. I'm not at
any
the
new
water
work for
department.
existing
Mr.
personnel.
I'm in engineering, so I'm just filling in here.
On that, he works in the water end of it, and the waste, he's representing.
I'm at the design
He's an
engineer,
engineer,
so I'm not.
As an engineer, so I don't think it's really fair for him to make the judgment of that. I get what you're
It's
saying.
Mr. Hubbard's request to the
Well, I
question.
understand that, but I think the question you ask is not in his.
Mr. Hubbard asked me to
responsibility.
elaborate on the addition of the men, what they would be doing, so
I'm pretty much along the same line. What are the men doing?
I just,
Mr. Hubbard elaborated on what he has consistently stayed on top of for the last 19 years, okay? And know where we are at this point.
I'm comparing it
Okay.
to every other
The
industry.
comparison
Are you
is,
running
before I open
100%
my mouth,
efficient
I
now?
make sure that it's a
That's
pertinent
an
argument.
argument, both sides.
Thank you, sir.
Unless there's somebody else who wants to speak on this issue, I'm going to call for the question on the amendment.
Yes, sir.
If you're for this amendment, vote aye. If you're opposed, vote no.
Restate that.
The amendment is to, the amendment itself, this is for a dedicated three-person crew for wastewater maintenance.
To eliminate it.
No, that,
Eliminate.
To eliminate it. To eliminate.
You want to eliminate.
His motion is to eliminate the three-man crew.
okay, so.
And that's what we're voting on.
Yeah,
Three new employees,
yeah, the three new employees.
not the crew, the new employees.
All right, everybody understand?
Yes, sir.
If you want to eliminate the additional employees, you know what to do.
Yeah, I know the cover.
Call the roll, please.
Hubbard,
No.
Snyder,
No.
Carnell,
No.
Sneed,
Yes?
Yes.
Head, Ellis,
Yes.
Mason.
No.
Failed 3-4.
All right. Floor is open for other discussion.
Yes, Mr. Mayor.
Mr. Sneed?
I'd like to amend the budget to eliminate the $40,800 that we are currently paying to the Chamber of Commerce. I think with the increased membership and increased in dues and the addition of employees, it's time for that entity to stand on their own and grow up without tax dollars.
All right. Is there a second? Motion fails for lack of a second.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, sir?
my overall comment for accepting this budget was really answered by the public hearing, and our knowledge of really propelling us into the future of being prepared so that this city will not have to go backwards, where we can get the growth that we need, that we can become the outstanding city that we already are. But we just have to tweak it a little bit, and we have to really come out of the box. So this was a very well-designed budget, and I really feel that we should pass it so that Springfield can go ahead and grow.
Other comments?
Ms. Hubbard, we all have our opinions about the budget, and we have the right to make amendments if we don't think it's necessary. It's just the process. Don't take it personal.
I'm not taking it personal. You have a right to do what you want to do. I'm stating what James Hubbard feels, okay? I'm not impeding you.
Let's get back on the subject that we're here for. Vote this thing up or down, or make whatever amendments you feel are necessary. Other discussion?
Tell us again exactly what we're voting.
There was no second.
There was no second. There is no vote at this point. We're on this whole budget at this point.
The whole budget.
The entire budget and the tax rate of 14-cent increase, which would make it $1.20 from the $1.06 that's there. Is there any, are there other amendments?
I have, I have one for us to discuss and vote on, whichever way it goes suits me fine. A way in which we would recoup whatever $35,000 in salaries and I know we were not going to get into this a great deal, but a plan to give everybody a 2% raise first day of November will provide the city $35,000 to do something else. That's 4 months.
You're wanting to postpone the raise that's scheduled for July
That's just
1st to November 1st.
An amendment, that's all.
All right, is there a second to Mr. Ellis' amendment?
Second.
There is a second. Now, discussion on the amendment.
Just ask one thing.
Okay.
Ms. Holt, is that general fund only, right?
So it'd be
I
part of the.
used your figures.
Yeah, sorry, it sounds familiar. Yes, about $7,600, $7,500 per month.
On the general fund?
Yes.
Okay. That motion applies to all employees, but you're referring to the part that affects the tax rate, okay, and not the utility rate.
While we're on this, one department sent in a special request, I believe, or Paul may have it in the budget. I would want this to state that this is what everybody would get, and this is all the raise they would get, is 2%.
That doesn't count step raises. That
Does not, yeah, that would be 2% and your steps, but.
But it would apply to all employees effective November 1st.
Did I not say that right?
Yes.
Or did I not, or did I, yes?
If you're topped out,
Yes.
you still get it.
Yes.
Right?
We know what you mean.
We know what you mean, but I'm gonna have to address this. There is a retention situation with certain departments that you have to look at. You're trying to maintain a certain proficiency. You don't want a turnover. There's a couple of departments you really have to look at because Nashville is robbing us blind. That's the reason why we made that special allowance. So it's retention. You want to retain good people.
Ms. Knight?
Okay, my question is, if you're topped out in your department, you're saying that you still get a raise?
Yes.
Yeah.
That would apply to
2%
all.
raise. Everybody,
Across the board.
everybody gets 2%.
But just in the general fund?
No, everybody.
No.
Okay.
And that's what I meant, that's what I said.
What he was saying was that the effect on the general fund would be the savings
The 30.
that he didn't get into what it would do in the various utility departments.
Okay, for all employees.
And just for everybody's edification, when you give a COLA, the whole pay scale comes up for everyone.
Okay.
I would like to comment, and Mr. Hubbard and I are just going to have a conversation. When we're talking about retention, it's just like these men said, we need to be talking about the police department. They've lost 20% of their people in the last 4 years. Now, according to what I am reading, and what I was given, and let me be sure I have the right page, because I'm
Get to the electric department. That's what you want to look at, sir.
that's all I'm looking at.
That's the one you want to go to it.
Hold on a second. Excuse me just one second. I'll get all this separated.
Yes.
Okay.
But you can review that.
Here I am, Mr.
All right, go ahead, Mr. Ellis.
Mr. Mayor, what I did look at this to try to be fair, and found that in the electric department, as it said, we have, let me just read this. Last year, we had one opening for a ground man position. Now, I'm just telling you what I'm reading. 2012, we had one opening for an apprentice. We would go back to 2011 to find an opening for a journeyman, lineman or crew leader. And I know that recently, according to what I was told, that 4 or 5 applied at CEMC. It is my understanding that they're all still here. No, sir. Oh, yeah, I'm sorry, I know you.
Yes, he definitely need to address that. Of course you need to address it.
You need to announce your
He's sitting on
arrival,
the wrong-
Robert.
He's on the wrong row.
Thank you, Mayor. Yes, our turnover percentage has gone down in the last 5 to 6 years. That's largely due to in 2008, we did the same thing that we're talking about doing tonight. We had to increase salary of our very competitive positions just for retention, because from 2002 to 2007, we had an 80% turnover rate. We lost 10 linemen. From 2002 to 2007, from 97 to 2002, we lost 6 linemen. But it was because of the effect of the increase we did in 2008 that our percentage of turnover drastically reduced. But now we're getting back into the same position again because we have not kept pace with surrounding utilities. We've lost 3 to Nashville in the last 5 years. The only reason we haven't lost more is because there's not more openings, but there stand to be more openings at Nashville Electric, CEMC, Clarksville Electric. You know, we kind of keep our ears to the ground, and we know there's a lot of retirements coming up. And I really don't want to turn over half my workforce because I've got some good employees, as all city employees are. But we have to be competitive with surrounding utilities, simply the same way that the police department has to be competitive with surrounding municipalities and other police departments, so we don't just keep training people to go to other systems. So that's why I'm asking. I would not ask for something that I did not need. I actually asked for more, but Paul, you know, he pared it back because we understand how money is tight right now, but this is where we are, and right now we're about 18% below the surrounding average for a lineman. We're 20% below the surrounding average for a foreman, and if we don't keep pace year to year, then that gap is going to get bigger, and we could stand to lose more.
Mr. Gardner?
Yes.
What is the average rate for a lineman for Springfield?
Right now, $28.78. The regional average is $33.97, so there's a $5.19 differential on a lineman and a $6.15 differential on a foreman. Now, these are just comparing utilities within an hour's drive from Springfield.
That's what I'm looking at right now on the internet. It says $60,000 for an average lineman.
Yeah, I'm not concerned with anybody. I'm not concerned with East Tennessee or Kentucky.
No, I didn't.
I'm concerned about.
This is Clarksville.
Okay.
It actually popped up.
Clarksville's current rate is $35.91 for a lineman, $40.53 for a foreman.
All right. Is that all you needed to add?
I would say, is that all, Robert? Is that all we have? Is that what you have? I did check and just go through what our gentlemen and ladies were making, and I will say this, that the workers with overtime are making more money than the assistant. Who is Nikki? Where is he? I found your name. Is he there? He's number 2. As of the last pay period, that's correct. This year, and I'll go on and tell this, last year, 10 of these people last pay period, with one pay period to go, your people, you had 10 people who had already made more than $60,000.
That's true.
With overtime.
That consistently happens. We're not talking about management salaries. That's a whole nother picture, and we just stuck to our most competitive positions, our linemen and our foremen, meter tech and technical services supervisor. But if we went into engineering and operations, that gap widens quite a bit.
Any other questions of Mr. Gardner? Thank you, Robert.
Thank you, sir.
All right. Are there other questions before you? At this point, you have the entire budget. Several amendments have been introduced and failed. One didn't get a second.
Okay, so
is there
right
anything
now
for
we're voting on the amendment for the budget as is.
I think it's Holman to say that.
Okay, we're on the amendment now. Was there something to be said here?
You want to add
clarification, I think that's needed, whether or not in that amendment it included the additional 3% that was budgeted for the electric department on top of the 2%.
Okay. What did you have with regard to that, Mr.
That
Evans?
was- My understanding that is that it would not be there, the 3%.
Okay.
You didn't
Get
say
their
that.
2%. I did not say that.
Wait a minute, yes, you didn't allude to that. What you said is 2% for everybody, so you're
2%
correct.
for everybody.
Deferred till November? Is it-
Till November, yeah.
Now, the 3% wouldn't, the 2% will. Deferred to November 1, give them a raise in November, it would start November 1.
All employees, it seems I'm rewording it as you did. All employees would be entitled to a 2% raise on top of the step raises if they're eligible for them. But that would be, the date of the effectiveness of that would move from July 1 to November 1. Is that correct?
That's correct.
So the clarification is that the 3% for the electric
Would become
would be-
2%.
well, it's 5,
To go
well, it's
back.
3%, it's 5% would become 2%, because they've got 3 in it.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fine. I just wanted clarification.
Any other questions? Mr. Hubbard?
I cannot go along with the cut. I can go along with the deferring. Okay, I don't think at this time we should defer the 2%. All the steps, I think we can handle it.
Okay.
We're gonna pass the budget.
Just a moment. Is there a question, James?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Alderman Hood.
Mr. Head?
Said second.
And this is to take out the 3% that's elected.
It's to change the rate of the electric to the same that everybody else gets. That's number one. And part two of it is to delay the raise until November 1st instead of July 1st. Now, that's what's before you in this amendment. Is everybody clear on it? If you favor the amendment, vote aye. If you're opposed, vote no.
Snyder.
No.
Carnell.
No.
Hubbard.
No.
Sneed.
Yes.
Head.
Yes.
Ellis.
Yes.
Mason.
No.
Failed 3-4.
All right, back on the budget as a whole. Are there other amendments?
I've got a list, but I hadn't been very successful so far.
That's up to you.
But at
I'm
least,
trying to be fair to everybody.
okay,
I'm not encouraging or discouraging.
Do a beautiful job.
and that's okay. I just said I'd put it out there and people could vote. Oh, I would like to make another amendment, please, sir, since we've got plenty of time and got anything else to do.
That's your opinion.
We are hiring a fireman and a policeman who are going
Effective
to go
January
to
1.
work, who are effective January 1, 2015.
Yeah.
A couple of years. Okay. We have a gentleman who's been in his job a long time and is same age as I am. And that look good, George? You look better than I do. Exactly. Graduated from high school the same year, a long time ago. George is retiring, and I would like to keep that position. And we're talking about probably hiring somebody in November, something like that. I mean, we don't know that, but we've got to go through interviews, and they've got to give 30-day notices. Bringing the new person on in January 1, 15, and it would save half that salary if anybody's interested.
Mr. Nutty?
Well, we will not be paying the new person what Mr. James makes. We've already made the changes in the budget. It's not at certainly Mr. James's salary now. So we've taken some, realizing that it's going to take us a month or two to fill his position. It's a professional position. So we're going to have a number of...
Reduced about 20, probably between 20 and 30,000.
All right, what is the public needs to know that. What's the salary range for that position?
Didn't bring it with me. I think it's about 50,
That's
Okay.
about right.
And how much did you put in that budget for the entire year?
60,000.
You put 60 in, okay.
Mr. Mayor,
Mr. Evans?
as a member of the Planning Commission, both planning director, both assistant planning director, their hands are full. So if Mr. Nutting choose to maybe hire someone around August or September, we need to kind of give him that leeway. Give him that prerogative. Mr. Nutting, am I?
Well, I stand by my budget.
Okay.
What is your reasonable expectation as far as a new person coming to work?
About within the month after George leaves.
Within a month?
Yep.
And you think that 60 will cover that? Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
That 60 was budgeted for a full year, and it will take us probably 2 months, so it could be into September, the 1st of September.
So, okay, you budgeted for 12 months then?
Yes. So we're going to have savings.
Okay. All right.
We're going to
Mr.
be
Ellis,
under budget.
your amendment is to defer that hire to January 1st.
I guess my amendment would, I'm sorry.
And amend the budget to only have half that amount in the budget, half of the 60,000.
What?
And I'll second that motion.
Would it be 60?
Okay.
Now, I'm not sure. I think we can deal with the money, but I'm not sure we can tell Paul not to hire. Now, I don't know, you know that better than I do.
Well,
Take his
honestly,
money.
you have, that's correct. However, when you set that budget, you pretty well lock him into what he can or cannot do.
And you pretty much have to know that those positions need to be filled at the time that he said it need to be filled. That is a key strategy position in the city. And we don't want to leave it vacant too long.
Well, if the job is presently budgeted at 60,000, and the way we fill things often, it takes a little longer. I think Paul might have been a little bit optimistic on that. The longer he waits, of course, the more we save, but
We posted the job.
Mr. Mayor.
Yeah.
Right.
Wasn't some of Mr. Ellis's motives to bring the police hire a little closer and delay the plan directors and make that offset reverse? That was part of the.
I didn't hear that in his motion.
That would be Paul's decision. But in the budget, it says hired police officer in January. He's wanting to hire a plan director now. He's wanting to offset it and get the police officer hired sooner. That's the purpose of this. Was that right, Mr. Ellis?
Yeah. And in my opinion, which evidently doesn't amount to much, if I have to make a decision between a police officer and, excuse me, George, and a planning director, I'll hire a police officer.
But that wasn't your original argument.
Well, I'm not, whatever.
I mean, now clarified, he didn't come in till you mentioned Ms. Sneed. That wasn't part of the original argument.
All right, we're back now. The amendment as structured is to delay the hiring of the planning director until January 1st. And it's been duly seconded. Now, was that your intention, Mr. Ellis, was to allow some additional funds so the police officer could be put to work
We're going to
earlier?
have to save some funds, but what was also proposed, and can still happen, the 2% applied to the lower positions will get them more money.
That's true.
But what the people need to realize is this budget is pretty much locked in. We need to come up with another source for police officers, and we know we're going to have to, but it's not in this. All that's in here is one man, one person.
And the reason for that is that puts the force back to its authorized strength of 39 officers. And when you say 39 officers, somebody says, oh, you don't need that many. You mean you got 39 out there now? Divide that by 5 it takes 5 people employed to put one on the street 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So you can do the math. And if you've got some vacancies, we currently have 2 vacancies, 2 on National Guard duty, 1 disabled, and 1 in the academy. So you can do the math. So that's what you deal with all the time. That's a little more extreme, but you never have the full force there. So that's what he's trying to do. All right, Mr. Sneed.
I passed out something. I want everybody to tear off one and pass it down. I've talked to, this is about budget issues, getting into trying to juggle some money. I've talked to Miss Jane. I talked to Jane about the trying to get our funds listed like this, our tax card like Metro, so people know what they're paying.
Okay, why are you bringing that up now?
Because if we could do this, we could start budgeting things for police, some things for fire. Since he's brought up an issue trying to move some money around, we can raise funds just for the police department, just for the fire department, just for parks and so forth, if we can get it set up like it is in Metro, like this tax card.
Okay. All right, any further discussion?
Ready to vote.
All right, question's been called for, and that's on Mr. Ellis's amendment, which would change the hiring of the planning director from the present plan of July 1st, or as near to it as you could.
Now, remember, this is all about money, so we need to know exactly how much money we're going to cut from the budget.
Well, if you have 60,000 in the budget, and
You're looking at 30?
according to this, you
An
were going
estimate
to
of
let
30
that be
plus.
for the full year. Of course, I don't really know why because you know you're not going to hire anybody before August 1st anyway. But I would assume you would cut $30,000 out of it.
Plus the benefits, so
Plus
it'd actually be probably closer to, let's see. About 42,000 probably.
Would have that much effect on the general fund budget.
Yes, you would.
All right. Go ahead, Mr. Evans. No,
My amendment is exactly what you said. Can we redirect that money?
You'd have to restructure your amendment, but yes, you could. If you're,
Yeah,
are
you
you
can make
saying
it
you want to take so much out of that and put it in another department? Okay. You wanna, well, let's vote on this.
Yeah.
And then we'll get it out of the way and you can come back with another one should this one not pass. You understand the amendment? Or we,
If we have enough savings and we give Paul the leeway, I mean, he doesn't know if there will be somebody. He may have to go through a second phase of interviews. If you find the right person, then we're gonna have to tell him to wait. I'm not sure that's putting a good face on Springfield.
okay. I'm going to declare about a 5-minute recess while we try to put something together.